knowledge is key. So even though you may not attend university, still find time to pick up a book and read. Our purpose on this earth is to teach. Learn from those who left a legacy and educate the next generation on who they can potentially be. Regardless of factors such as where you grew up or your disability, the importance of education is simple. It is an essential tool that is used to win battles when the odds are against you. It is the very thing that is used globally, but not
great day, great
to
folks.
experience the classroom.
Welcome to the Kingdom Classroom. Get started about a minute or so. Let me get settled.
Education for granted, we sell ourselves short. If every human being needs oxygen to breathe, why can't we see that to survive in this world it is crucial that we learn how to read?
Check y'all out in the comments.
Right. Learn how to multiply.
Almost as much as the Father on behalf of the Father.
Communication is a key factor of life.
Let's get in it.
Just like reproduction
Grace,
is the only way
peace,
the human race shall
purpose,
survive.
and power
But one wouldn't know
to the royal ones. Grace, peace, purpose, and power to the remnant. Grace, peace, purpose, and power to the builders. Grace, peace, purpose, and power to the mothers, the fathers, the mentors, the elders, the students, the sons, the daughters, the pastors, the rabbis, the imams, the spiritual leaders, the business owners, the real workers, the watchers, the warriors that know God reserves his hardest battles for his strongest warriors. I want to welcome each and every single one of you to this moment, because this moment is not random. This is not another speech, not just another launch. I've got a reputation for being involved in quite a few of those. Urban Concerned Clergy is not just another organization. As your president-elect, to me, this is not just a title. Beloved, this is a line in the sand. And so I sit before you now as the president-elect national. Thank y'all for that. Of Urban Concerned Clergy, not to impress you, but to impress upon you the urgency of the moment God had us in. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to play political games. I'm not here to join the narcissistic noise. I'm here to make public what has already been going on for just over the past decade now, that we have closed out the United Nations global decade-long celebration of us. Say it like that. With that magical melanin moving through our physical DNA, people of African descent. We have honored three principles over this decade from 2015 to 2025. Those principles have been recognition of what previous generations have done for us globally as a people. Second principle has been justice, fighting for the least of these, and development, building for future generations, our children's 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 children. And I need to say plainly what the real fight has been. The real fight is not red or blue. It's not oil. The fight is for our children. We are in the fight for our lives, for our urban children. That's it. The real fight has not been for microphones. The real fight has not been for titles. I wish a lot of my brothers would understand that the real fight for those of us who are privileged to be spiritual leaders, fathers to the fatherless, the real fight has not been for elections. The real fight has not been for access to buildings, Warlock, Eric, Vincent, Thomas, John Vaughn, Sambo, Shannon, Frosted Flake Jones. Yeah, I can't help it. I'm from the hood. We play the Joneses in our urban community. But I want you to know, even though we playing the Joneses, because the Joneses be playing themselves, the real fight is not about public relations. It's not about photo ops with politicians. The real fight has been and is over who gets to shape the mind, the identity, the discipline, the imagination, the language, and the future of our children. You notice my language? Not them kids. That's the real fight, beloved. And for a long time, a lot of people around us act like they don't understand that. They thought the fight was theological positioning. Thought the fight was church growth, denominational alignment, institutional favor. Thought the fight was which clergy body had the most visibility. Some of us been listening long enough, watching long enough, fighting long enough to understand that the real battlefield is in between the ears of the next generation. And when I say the next generation, I'm not talking abstractly. I'm talking about our babies and our schools. Talking about our babies in our apartment complexes. Talking about our babies in our parks. Not the hood with neighbors. I'm talking about our neighbors trying to navigate and develop and understand who they are in our neighborhoods. Talking about our babies in the public square. Talking about our sons and our daughters whose minds are being formed by social media and over-sexualized, over-militant culture. And we, the ones that God has entrusted with his children, we playing these political pulpit games. And it's time to slow down. Slow it all down. We're about to celebrate Dean Carter, founding dean over at Morehouse. I happen to be our mother's founding dean. I don't teach homiletics. I learned my hip-hop hermeneutical style is a combination of Edith Scott Bagley and my boss, the Yokemeister, the original Yoki of the Yokis. Somehow they convinced her, Coretta Scott King, to allow me to be the original creative arts and youth director of what used to be the Martin Luther King Jr. Center of Nonviolent Social Change under their direction. Coretta Scott King, Edith Scott Bagley, and Yolanda Denise King. It was the #1 youth attraction in the southeastern region. We still provide the original curriculum that they approved. Go to summersuccessschool.com. It's just going to forward you over to urbansuccessuniversity.com. Scroll down, click Success Academy, and you'll learn everything you need to place our youth on a trajectory toward purpose. See, you're going to learn I popped up in 1994 when, but in 1995 is when Eda Scott Bagley and Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker founded College for Teens on the Cheney campus. It was Eda Scott Bagley, Coretta Scott's mentor, Yolanda Denise King's mentor, who founded the creative arts department at Cheney University, like Yolanda founded the creative arts department at the King Center in 1982. And so I teach hip hop hermeneutics. There's homiletics, which is the study and art of preaching. We learn that in the colonizer classroom, in the slave master seminary, little outline, little issue, little context, little solution, little celebration. And then there's hermeneutics, what some refer to as the gift. It's where we take the sacred scroll and we look at what God was saying, when God was saying it, to who God was speaking to. And we extract from that the principles, concepts, precepts of God. We suspend them in midair. We analyze them from a myriad of different perspectives in order to find one that is inspiring, that is empowering, that is motivating. Eda Scott Bagley would say, don't be lazy in language, boys and girls. One that provides us with motive for action, for us to press on and press through whatever circumstance and situation we are encountering in order to fulfill the assignment, the purpose, the grace of God on our lives. We're strong over here. In theological circles, there are two definitions of grace. There is the Amplified Bible Dictionary definition of grace, which I, in my opinion, consider to be the Old Testament definition. It's God's unmerited favor. It's a bush burning that isn't burning. It's a God splitting the Red Sea. I don't know what team you're rocking with, whether it's Android, whether it's Apple. Y'all up on the latest. When was the last time you heard God splitting the Red Sea? It's been a while. Everybody with a master's of divinity. Everybody with a master's. Everybody with one of the slave masters and might not know too much about the master, how to master themselves. Shots fired. But everyone who has one of these established theological degrees has to take New Testament. In New Testament, you have to acknowledge Strong's Concordance, Strong's Bible Dictionary, New Testament definition of grace. It is the divine influence upon your heart that needs to get reflective in your life. We have to put into perspective our composite, that we are not physical beings having a spiritual experience, but are spiritual beings having a physical experience. Genesis 1:11, God kind of lets us know the blueprint for our development. It says that the seed of the tree is inside of itself, and so is every tree in the earth that the Lord God created. God pulled from himself, encapsulated us in a dirt shell, and boom, your body is a temple of the living Spirit of God. I don't teach the God in the sky. I teach how, based on the sacred scroll, how to understand the God within you. The New Testament definition of grace. Divine influence upon your heart that needs to get reflected in your life. Solomon 30 that thing out. Proverbs, the 23rd chapter, the 7th verse. He says, as a man thinks in his heart. This is where we can examine the fact that in English, this doesn't make sense. Because you think in your brain. You pump blood in your heart. So as a man thinks in his heart, let's go deeper. Okay? Then the colonizer classroom. Because the Bible, or let me say the English translation of the text. Because the Bible, sacred scroll, was not written in English. It was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. All of which are Afro-Asiatic, extremely expressive languages that predate the existence and development of the English language, therefore empire, by at least 1,000 years. So when Solomon says, as a man thinks in his heart, what does that mean? Well, the word is cardia, your inner being. Mama and them called it your shanana. Solomon is saying, as a man thinks in his heart, so he becomes. Now let me, as Daddy King would say, let me make this plain. So the seed of the tree is inside of itself, and so is every tree that in the earth that the Lord God created. Interesting. So the first assignment, first order, first commandment that God gives man is to be fruitful, not fruity. This is a HU lesson, not a Morehouse lesson. We're not talking about Dean Carter. We're talking about some of his students. Hey, it is what it is. I believe in healthy competition. My spiritual father, William Herbert Gray III, left that political buffoonery in order to chair the Night Negro College Fund. So look, all right, it's Tigers and it's Frosted Flakes. All right? It's men like Martin Luther King Jr., men like Leroy Johnson, men like Benjamin Mays, men like Jazz, men like Carr, men like Prom, right? Josh, right? I got some homies, Morehouse men, Reverend Dr. Albert Paul Brinson. I ain't go to my house, I taught there. And then you got some Frosted Flakes. You got a Warnock. You got Shannon Jones. You got Isaac Ferris Jr. You know, we closing out Women's History Month. Celebrate our mamas. And mama said, you need real food. You know, mama, when she taking us to the supermarket, she don't like us going down that sugary aisle with that processed food. You know, that sugary cereal. And what's the cereal with the guy on the box in the light talking about, I'm great? It's Tony the Tiger, Frosted Flake. A real tiger is one who hunts the satanic opposition to the women and children in this community, as I understand it to be. Real men who put the work in for God's children. Real men that understand what it means to be a man. I can't be everywhere. I can't know everything. But God gives us males the ability to share one title with God. Father. Bible, as I said, written in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. The original word for God is Ab. There are two derivatives. There is Abba, where we get the word father. On the surface, if we go deeper, and for this analogy, we need to. There is source. I can stop there, but hold that in the back of your brain. Source, sustainer, protector, provider, progenitor. Google them, each one has a title. Then there is Ab womb. Why I told you to hold source right here in the back of your brain. Don't pull it out yet, but just remember I told you to hold there. Because Adam was Ab womb. When God went to the dirt, he only did it once to make the man. When it came time to make this phenomenal creature, he called a black woman, I'm white fun, and he put the man to sleep, and he sourced the woman from the man. I'm gonna leave that there. Adam is that womb. Jesus on the cross, pierced in the side, gives birth to the way. We call it the kingdom way. Ab womb. Now it's personal for the corner Auburn and Jackson, because if you're talking about Dr. King, you're talking about the son. You're talking about Reverend King. You're talking about the son. If you're talking about Daddy King, then you're talking about the Father. You don't get the Son unless the Father. And there are a lot of people, a lot of New Jack folk, who have watered down the word in the Horizon Sanctuary. But Daddy King, AD, ML, they preached in the Heritage Sanctuary. My deaths. I'm the last son of the Heritage in transition. Literally. January 23rd, 1994, passed like a baton from Herbie to Mr. Chicago, Jersey Joe, Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts, the one who got the pastoral mantle from Daddy King, the one who God used to build the Horizon Sanctuary. We marched out March 7th, 1999. And the federal government, by way of the National Park Service, took over my desk. I know. I'm getting over it. I'm emotionally attached. I was dealing with Gordon Mesner, Douglas Mesner. He renamed his name to Lucian Greaves. Fight for our kids in the trenches. The after school Satan Club on free speech, and he came into my Hellertown school district in Pennsylvania. And we were in court, federal court, and we lost. Saucon Valley School District, Hellertown, Pennsylvania, the parents, the principals, the administration of the school district legally invested $200,000 in loss to Lucian Greaves on free speech. I know the Supreme Court loaded. They did what they did on abortion. I don't have an opinion on what a woman does with her body. If she ain't in my bed, you don't like my opinion, go home, girl. Like that though. I ain't got no wife. I mean, to put me on the couch. So that's my position. But in 2022, the Supreme Court also ruled we got prayer in schools. I'm gonna get into that. And we can't pathanicize. We can't pick a religion. I'm gonna get into this kingdom understanding. We did this about a decade or so ago. Because there is much that we can disagree on. However, the Bible and the Quran, the Torah is inside of the Bible. Okay. State that there are some foundational things that we can agree on to focus on that will improve our communities, our youth, and our households. Can we stop fighting ourselves and focus our energy on the positive as a positive example to our youth in submission to our God? Ways above our ways, thoughts above our thoughts. He's speaking. Because as the dean of Urban Success University, now as in my second decade as chair, all of the foundational teaching and principles of Urban Success University will be based on the following principles found in the Bible and the Quran, regardless of whether you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jewish. All parents should know the teaching of Urban Success University adequately respect all religious viewpoints of all youth involved. In the Bible and the Quran, there's Adam and Eve. In the Bible and the Quran, there's Joseph, Yusuf. In the Bible and the Quran, there is Pharaoh and the dream. In the Bible and the Quran, there is Moses. In the Bible and the Quran, there is David, Saul, Goliath. Come here, warlock. I'm going to preach you, my boy. Zechariah and John, Mary. And so I stay in that framework. You can go to Urban Success. I think on the founders page, you can download that anyway. Lucian. Dougie boy. Dougie and Warnock and Shannon and John Vaughan and Eric Vincent Thomas used to just get smacked in the back of the head in middle school and high school. And so I want y'all to understand as I'm teaching, because y'all will see me smacking these niggas in the back of the head with the book. And so I'm ahead of myself. I teach like Yolanda did. She had our founder of Urban Success University. Her most prophetic work was Living the Dream. One person show. You know, I'm trying to, live up to the expectations of my boss. Her mama, Coretta Scott King. She would always say, because the greatest of these is love. She would always tell me and Dexter and me and Christine King Ferris' son, these are the three women that built the King Center. Dr. Eva Scott Bagman, Dr. Willie Christine King Ferris, and prophetess Coretta Scott King. And we don't see Alveda in the picture. That's some rewrite that Isaac and Alveda and, Pumpkin Face got going on. We'll deal with that when I get to Goliath. But Yolanda and little Yolanda, yeah. Set a standard of service. And so I attempt to serve you through hip-hop hermeneutics. We talked about hermeneutics being a gift when we look at what God was saying, when God was saying, how God was saying, when God was saying, extract it, looking in the midair, analyze it from myriad different perspectives in order to find one that's inspiring, empowering, and motivating. Give us motive for action for us to press on and press through whatever circumstance situation that we are encountering in order to fulfill the assignment, the grace of God, the purpose of God on our lives. I was giving y'all that grace, the New Testament definition, the divine influence upon our heart that needs to get reflective in our lives. In essence, 3 phases. God is doing something in me. Oh, yes, he is. Why? Because he desires to do something through me. Why is that? Because he wants to use me to reach those he's assigned to me. And that's the way that he's working with each and every single one of us. All right? We're all looking for purpose. It's the New Testament definition of grace, the divine influence upon your heart that needs to get reflective in your life. My purpose is to teach. And I do it by way of, I don't know if you could tell, narrative before doctrine. Story before slogan. Context before conclusion. And it's because if you don't get nothing else, you gotta get this understanding. You gotta understand what you're standing under. And when you understand our story, his story, her story, our story, when you understand the real story of the sacred scroll, then you understand the assignment. Well, finally got us here, huh? Hey, y'all, I teach Kingdom, but I grew up in the basement of the Black Baptist Church. So at times I forget that my words don't have to be ever flowing in order to be everlasting. But I guess we're here now. Well, we are here now. God has prepared us for this. This ain't no late night reinvention. This ain't me trying to become something. This ain't me grabbing a new angle. This is not me searching for identity. I'm not cocky, I'm confident. Really, I'm confident. I've been like this my whole life. This is me standing in the lane. Standing in the gap that I was prepared for before some folk even knew what the lane was. My life has been shaped by prophetic parents. My own, my spiritual parents, Leon Howard Sullivan, Amazing Grace Banks Sullivan. Let me tell you about these two. When folk were running from the inner city, they were running to it. When folk were running from our inner city youth, they were running to it. You want a case study? Hey, y'all, it works. When other folks were escaping our communities, my prophetic parents were planting in them. When other folks were complaining about our nappy-headed little North Philly Negro children, they were building systems for them. Select patronage, which they gave to Martin Luther King Jr. got rewritten in the Operation Breadbasket. Boycott, don't do that for us. It doesn't do what the blueprint showed us. You know, from select patronage, where we withdraw our economic support from them folk who get paid in our community, not reinvest in our community, and by their actions, not by their words, show us they really don't give a frick about our community. And we redirect it to those who are building our community. You know, Sully took 17, 19 in Oxford and turned it into OIC. Literally took an old jail and converted it into what you see me doing with some of my Morehouse brothers, Kari and Jazz, Access Developers, providing employment for our youth and teaching them how to build homes. You know, the skills to pay the bills. Mama Grace and the mamas, you know, my entrepreneur squad teaching our daughters, you know, entrepreneurship in the basement. We call it brains over booze and digital brilliance. You know, it's contagious. We on the move. And so shout out, you know, y'all see us on the west side, connecting the community. Wheels and Tires by Bailey, King Dave, Kingdom Auto Solutions, teaching our sons how to turn wrenches. I don't want you to think it's new. It's the original blueprint that my pop gave to Yolanda's father. Yeah. 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 Ivao. When others were trying to preserve comfort, we were putting in the work in to create new digital structure. When other folks were satisfied with symbolic religion, we were dealing with entrepreneurial economics, creating jobs in the South and West Side for our sons and our daughters, providing them physical training and digital training, even to our business owners. Real select patronage, real institutional development. I can't help it. Where Sully had build, brother build, unto us a son is born. He grows up into a father. And the same way I wrote for our mamas, I can't help but write for our babies. You can get the book Build, Brother Build, or you can go to buildsisterbuild.com and see our daughters. I was 8 when Sully licensed me. That'll be 40 years this August 31st. We missed the United Nations Global Celebration of People of African Descent from 2025 or 2015 to 2025. But I didn't want to say that. I wanted to believe it was real. I want to pull up like my Kojic mamas and pinch myself, you know, to my African mamas so they can find out if you're authentic. The United Nations Global Celebration of People of African Descent has given us the United Nations. One day we celebrate us as a people. It's the day we're going to have our Success Symposium. It's my birthday, August 31st. Can you imagine? I didn't do it. He did. I'm giving him glory for the story. Now, for the record, I'm making myself no reputation. And some people gonna hear what God just using me to release and don't know what to do with it. That's because everything about the remnant, if you don't know about the remnant, they were born from 1988 to 2007. They are 19, 37 years old. And they were born in transition. See, our heritage is William Herbert Gray Jr., Daddy King's mentor, International Baptist Convention, September 1934. Next generation, William Herbert Gray III. Unfortunately, they murdered Martin Luther King Jr. They murdered A.D. Daddy King called William Herbert Gray III, my second spiritual pop. Get down here. Nope, but I know what you need. Let me introduce you to this nigga from Chicago named Jersey Joe. My roommate, my ace book coon from Princeton, said Mama King met him, fell in love with him. Joe wasn't stepping into that political buffoonery. And then after they came to kill Daddy King, missed. killed Mama King in front of Mama Ferris. One of the members asked Joe, Mr. Chicago, how many folk you gonna let die before you helped Dad? Joseph Lawrence Roberts Jr. became the pastor of historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. Fast forward the videotape, him and Herbie, William Herbert, Gray III, are retiring. 2005, 2006, we get the Frosted Flakes, Kevin Johnson, and Raphael Gamaliel Warnock. And right when our fathers are ascending, right after Herbie shut his eyes at the tennis match across the pond in London, April 14, 2014, as I got him on because I got boots on the ground, giving Kevin Johnson the boot the fuck out my basketball court. April 14, 2014, Philadelphia Tribune wrote this amazing article, documentation beats conversation and speculation all day, every day. Raphael Gamaliel Warnock finally tried to come up to to Bright Hope. And Herbie ain't really feel Warnock. When Herbie talked to me about Warnock, he said Raphael Gamaliel Warnock reminded him of Robert Nix Jr. If you don't know his story, Robert Nix Jr. was the first appointed congressman, just like Raphael Gamaliel Warnock is the first appointed senator, black one. And Herbie said the first appointed is typically picked by the institution. And Herbie used to work for Nix. I never worked for the Warlock. And matter of fact, the only time I ever went behind that desk was Yolanda Denise King's last performance on 2007 King Holiday, coming up on that 20-year anniversary. The Frosted Flakes, Isaac, Warnock, and Shannon had Shannon about to introduce Yolanda, and everybody knows how prophetic she was in the spirit. She froze the King Holiday. Where are you? Where are you? Where I'm at. Get your ass over here and introduce me. And so I introduced Yolanda. We didn't know that would be her last public performance. One of you buffoons released that fucking tape. I'm gonna say it like that because that's how the fuck I said it. Y'all excuse me. I'm fiery and I'm about to call it coach. Like fire, shut up in my balls like Jeremiah for 20 years. That will never ever leave me alone. Nor her students. Like that though. And so yeah, how did we get there? The hood, Holy Ghost.
I hail you. I worship you. I hail you, Most High. Oh, I hail you.
We're going to yield to the Spirit of God.
I worship you.
Bernice, her students want to study her performance. At Dexter's funeral, Marty III said me and Bernice go mention all the women, especially my Aunt Edith, who wrote my mama's autobiography. I hear you. We serve. It broke her heart when she finally got the King Holiday to be a day of service. We stopped for white men, we stopped for presidents, but this day we served. We've gotten away from service. We cannot allow Martin III. Bernice, you have to fix this before you tear anything down. You have to allow little Yolanda to walk this campus. June 11th, John Boyne, is Edith Scott Bagley's ascension date. You walked out the Horizon Sanctuary of Ebenezer on March for Your Lives, little Yolanda's bread. and you turned around and you walked back in.
I am favored. Favor surrounds me like a shield.
Congresswoman McBath, his son.
Favor covers me from now.
That lady cries.
Today I reunite with my father.
She fights
Oh, I am favored.
for gun laws.
I am
Her
favored.
son was
Favor
murdered
covers me. Favor walks with me. Favor
because of
covers
this
me.
language divide.
Favor lives with me. Divine favor.
We have
When you
ICE
see me, you see divine favor.
in Fulton County,
Oh, favor.
and the ones at the airport are not the ones stalking our children in their neighborhoods.
It will cover me from
They went to
now.
Washington Elementary in Clayton County, not the front door, but the back door. In Fulton County, we give our children guns 10 times easier than we give them library cards. We have to go back 66 years ago. This is why Danny King told Reverend Dr. Albemarle Brinson, you're going to still be here. The first time somebody stood up by sitting down. And that's what the teen takeover is. It's not the adults, it is the youth.
I am favored. I am favored. I am favored.
They are crying.
Favor surrounds me like a shield.
And little Yolanda is 1 million hours of service.
Favor covers you.
I have given 33 hours of
The
service a
moment that you
week.
wake up.
Yes, I am skinny. Yes, I skip meals. Yes, they took my house. Yes, they took my suits. Yes, they took my hard drives.
Favor covers you. Favor
On the steps. Her quote is there that God, non-violence is not easy. It is John 15 that God is pruning us. And He is pruning me publicly.
I am favored. Favor surround me like a
That is the word of God for the people of God. I am creative. I cannot do this politically.
Favor around the do side, favor around the no side, favor the illuminate, favor around me side.
I am not my older brothers. I have been raised by the Semper Fi, but my only oldest to the sacred scroll.
Favor surrounds you. Grace of the Lord follows you. His peace, His goodness and mercy continues to follow you all the days of your life, that you will continue to dwell in the house of the Lord, that you continue to be favored, that the hands of the Lord will forever be upon you, that He continues to dwell with you, that He lives inside of you. You are not.
Black women run the world.
Surrounds me like a shield. Favor covers you. From the moment that you wake up, favor surrounds you like a shield. Favor protects you. Favor dwells with you and your family. Favor covers you. Favor walks with you. Favor lives with you. Whatever that you touch, favor. Wherever that you step into, you are favored. Favor will guide you.
Mama Neat just ascended February 9th.
I am favored.
KJ Mama.
Favor surround me like
My sister. Block. I'm the prophetic point guard of Bright Hope. KJ is the prophetic point guard of Summers. There you go. That's KJ. One of my brother 20 years old. Commitment we made to Yogi. That's the story.
favor surrounds you.
At my ball court right there.
The grace of the Lord follows you. His peace, His goodness.
I hear God
to follow you.
saying
All
we
the days
over
of your
the
life, and you
labels.
will continue to dwell in the house.
Business owners, stop.
Okay? And so I'm Baptist College Kojic. I'm going to yield to the Spirit of God. Pause.
Moses asked, when the people ask your name, what shall I say? And you replied, I am that I am. The eternal one, the self-existing God, the one who needs nothing to be everything. Our provider. You see every need before we pray. You are Jehovah, our healer.
People, God's people, the traditional clergy structures in many cases are either too politically entangled or too institutionally cautious, too denominationally rigid, too disconnected from the actual urban trenches, too removed from the remnant to fight the present fight in the present language of the present battlefield. So we had to build a new body of believers, the Believing Soldier Battalion, that understand our urban schools, our public environments, our cultural identity, our youth formation, our entrepreneurial economic circumstance and situation, the digital divide, our language. Still dabble. We got some folk that deal with them policies, but mentorship, spiritual fatherhood, divine discipleship is the paramount prophetic priority. We making sure we keep the main thing the main thing. And so we celebrated the 40-year anniversary of Yolanda's Creative Arts Department in 2022. We were celebrating the 20-year anniversary of Urban Success University. You know, I was talking to one of them babies. She was a baby. She was in the 6th grade when I walked her inside of Coretta Scott King in 2007. She was like, I don't know, maybe, I want to think 13, 14, when I threw the Watch Night Party in 2011 in the King Center, Freedom Hall. She couldn't have been, but she 15. 15. She told me her birthday right around there. It's about 15, I think, turning 16. This is the problem with your spiritual. You on my birthday? How many of y'all it is? I already. There she go in the comments, right? Y'all see her? How old was she? She was 15 when we had the march with Ted Jackson, Fulton County Sheriff, 1,000 black babies, our babies, from Booker T. Washington High School, down MLK, past Richard Russell, over to the Georgia Gold Dome, where I'm on the Bullhorn for Naomi. You know, when we got all the boys together from 2021 to 2024 for Fulton County Big Brothers Anonymous, my brother's keeper, this lady ran up and was like, damn it, I'm blacking out. Where you been? Where you been? Where you been? Well, da 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 da. Meanwhile, I'm looking at this young king giving me the eye like, this your son? I should have known. You know, when Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts in 2014, he had always sent me to middle schools and high schools. He started sending me to elementaries. When y'all see that clip, and well, Barack was in office. Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts was live. You see the National Park Service, I'm teaching at KIPP DC, pre-K. Them preschoolers that gave me that little thing that say class 2028, they're my 10th graders now. I got grand students, y'all. And so, you know, in Philadelphia, we got Bishop Morris with the elder clergy group. But this intergenerational oppression that Concerned Black Clergy got with Shannon Jones, I mean, the Fulton County Big Brothers Anonymous, the Obama Foundation, my brother's keeper, graduated these boys in custom cut suits. At the center of it is the historic Auburn Avenue Library in June of 2024. We're going to look past December of 2022 when 2 boys got shot in Atlanta Station. He called a press conference and claimed our programming that lowers teen violence, put a couple dollars in the pockets of our kids, call on community businesses and mentors to intergenerationally revitalize, rebuild, and resurrect our beloved business community. And really start the conversation and get back to, you know, community instead of chaos, because that's the last question that Mel asked us, which one we want. And so as we get back to community, we looking past that. When we graduated these boys in custom cut suits, 3.5 years, nobody showed up. And then 3 boys get shot at the Reverend James Orange Park. This Negro pulls up at a prayer rally he called late. Now, if y'all don't know, because a lot of adults don't, we have the illest Little League football team at the Reverend James Orange Park. Independent, so any of you clergy members want to support our youth, the community members, pull up with a case of water. Right now, we're trying to get them little helmet covers for our boys. You can donate for some of them. He calls a prayer rally at 6 p.m. And when you're the head of clergy, right, and you put on a prayer rally at the park, the remnant, we in the park. It's 6 p.m. They done took that old hymn, My God is a Mighty Fortress, and locked the doors. We ain't got nowhere else to go. But you done made grandma and them come. And you know, you're a little bit pretentiously entitled. He literally, you know, because prayer is paramount. When you're leading prayer and you call prayer, somebody got to teach you. You must didn't learn those prophetic principles that Dean Carter be putting in, because prayer is important. You on early is on time. On time is late. Late is flat out unacceptable. Prayer call at 6 o'clock. He shows up 6:15. No press. Pulls up. It's literally on video. Rolls his window down. I'm trying to give him an intro. Hey, y'all, to go Reverend Jones right there. Here goes his father. Hey, KJ, don't make me get out the car and fuck you up. Excuse me? Don't make me get out my car. Says it again. Rolls up his window. The young boy like, oh, who was that? You know, our kids get guns. Sometimes they're easier to get library cards. Oh, who talking to you like that? We out here to pray, pulling up like that. Because it's grandma back there. Grandma here. Reverend talking to you like that. That was the preacher. Well, I'm going to talk to him. And the preacher be pulling up in no prayer rally talking like that. Pulls up and rides away. And so behind the scenes, we have been, well, you see Kingdom Water Solutions and the work on the southwest side of Atlanta. 2 weeks later, Eric Vinton Thomas, who had been lying to the community, saying that it was the mayor's faith-based liaison, he's not, okay? He was prior to Deacon Dre. That's Deacon Dre. Y'all remember Cameron Alexander, 2011 King Holiday. All right, Cameron Alexander was there back then. Back in the day, there was 12 Go to the Gospel who used to fellowship with Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott on Sunday night. There was only 2 alive at the time. There was Dr. Joseph Lowry. Everybody know Dr. Lowry got a name signed on a Delta jet, and Dr. Cameron Alexander. Dr. Cameron Alexander went behind the pulpit, said something that we need to reflect on. He said, I was the young buck of the crew. I won't want nobody nonviolent smack me, I smack you back. And he touched a little fat little ball Luther boy. He said, I'm gonna tell you what else. He said, y'all be trying to cross your T's and dot your I's. That's not what we did. We did all that we could do. And because all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do when all you can do is all you can do is all you can do is enough. He said, we let God move. Y'all be trying to cross your T's and dot your I's, and you don't let God move. And so, we didn't do that. We let God move, and we were, because the reason that the program ended wasn't just because of anything other than we lost the meeting place. And so we were looking for a place to meet, and we have these little hubs inside of 2012. Me and some of my friends had a theological debate with Warnock and Shannon on the practical application of the book on hip hop hermeneutics versus homiletics. And so we took 627 West Clearfield, North Philadelphia, the Badlands, and turned it into the Catch, this sanctuary for the prison ministry, busting at the seams. Now, 10 years later, they getting involved, but anyway, I say that not to showcase the work, but to talk about how we do these silos. So we St. Vincent's Missionary Baptist Church is right here. We got a hub right here on the corner. Single dad, sons, believing soldier, basketball court over there, playing basketball with the boys, riding bikes through the hood. One Saturday, Eric Ventatama comes out and sees us as a group of boys across the street. What did y'all need? Listen, some bikes, some basketballs. Oh man, listen, I run the mayor's faith-based liaison. I heard about what y'all doing over there, man. Y'all come over here. Pitches it real good. Has me over there. Holds our Success for Teens book inside of his friggin' sanctuary, taking pictures. Got me, whatever. And prayer day. Sends me over to Carver High School. Pray with the kids. Got this bus on his friggin' sanctuary. Advertising it for donors. He collecting donations to redo the bus, do a little type of thing. And him and Eric Vincent Thomas and Shannon Jones, right after the boys get shot at the Reverend James Owens Park. Reverend James Owens used to go to St. Vincent. That's Howard Creasy's church. Y'all know I'm in the prison ministry. Howard Creasy in the jails. We on that. We got the framework. We got the documentation. We on it. And so Eric talking about making all that happen. And then they're hosting Eric Adams. And, well, on behalf of clergy, the community, we want to address some stuff with the new superintendent. Last superintendent did this. We have this framework for Project 2025 and all the things that are happening now that we were going to put in place that y'all still happening, that we documented, emailed over to Shannon, emailed over to Eric. Eric was like he was against Shannon. Now y'all two together. Stiff-armed me from the event and, that sort of thing, and does it in front of the community. Well, the community, I'm whatever, a little bit afterwards, you guys are going to notice, I had, because there's a house that was for rent and maintaining a presence in the community. Eric tells me about his member who has a house next door from a guy who's doing Airbnb but don't want to do the Airbnb. It's the play block. There's another minister right there. We're going to make the play block. Eric sets up me renting a house. I'm renting a house. Tree falls on my door. In the yard, falls on my truck. So I'm suing my landlord. But he's out the country. Where the freak he is. And so all of a sudden, I get, I got friends like, bro, laughing and joking. So you and your landlord had a love affair? What the freak you talking about, bro? We got what they call it, a protection from abuse from you and your landlord. Y'all living together. What? So I go down to the Fulton County building. I go up to the 9th floor, sheriff floor. Wednesday, my captain's my sheriff. Do I got a warrant? Nope. But you got a protection order. Huh? Well, let me get it. Cool. Friday night. Saturday is youth day at St. Vincent's. APD at my door. I got a warrant. What? And your landlord trying to get in the house. You go all the paperwork. You can't get my house. Landlord tenant thing. My house locked. Got certain stuff in there. Sergeant Robinson, APD, looks over everything. Locks my door. Tells my landlord tenant thing. Yeah, I do whatever. I go to Rice Street. Now, favor ain't fair, but it fit good.
it's Memorial Day weekend. You going to Wright Street, you typically not coming home till Tuesday. So I'm bebopping down the block Sunday morning, and I see all these boxes and shit outside. So I call one of my homies, APD. Hey man, pull up. Officers escort me to my house. The landlord, now the last time we got a report, the landlord is locked outside my house. APD said he can't get in. Now this motherfucker's inside my house. I've been released. I'm looking to get in my house. I can't get in my house. Y'all gonna see the video. He won't even let APD in my house. APD like, open up the door. I'm gonna lock you the fuck up. He opens up the door. My whole house is robbed. All my clothes, all my hard drives. I had a copy of Yolanda's speech. This is the interesting part when dissected. His affidavit to get the PFO, whatever it is, TPO, talks about an incident at the King Center. How the fuck does my landlord justify some shit at the King Center that isn't a police report? What's the connection? Alveda and Eric Vincent Thomas, what y'all are seeing is really, when Yolanda died, that's when the A.D. King Foundation kicked off. And it was to replace Yolanda's work. And so what ended up happening is they ran neck and neck, right? They took the ops. All they wanted was that march in 2012 in Fulton County. Now, 2022, we celebrating Yolanda and Naomi Barber King on her deathbed. So the fact that Urban Success University is still alive, it's a problem for Isaac. It's a problem for Alveda. It's a problem for Babs of the Boo Boo, because they got all this fucking money and they need to cash out. And so they come up with this narrative and whatever. Nobody cares. But you did it on our children. We ain't playing that. So for 3 years, we've gone through this. For 3 years, the board in Philadelphia has had to fund this down here. For 3 years, they've slandered us. For 3 years, they've done nothing. And so the initial issue was not NOT, or not coming into election in 2022. It wasn't. And in 1994, when Dexter killed the youth department and Yolanda rebuilt it, she rebuilt it with the King Association, Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker. My students are going to put up this clip from Mama Knowledge where she talks about her dying wish. It was for all of us to know the real story of Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks. On October 2022, the Lonnie, Rosa Parks' great nephew, and Soleil produced The Real Rebellious Rosa Parks. Tells a story about how Rosa was so much more than a old lady. I'm 47, turning 48. I'm looking for a wife. The last thing you ever want to do is call a black woman old. Okay? Because at 41, she can just catch you and beat that ass. Now, King Association founder, King Center founder. But these two women were so much more. This is the prophetic pillar. This is the political pillar. Shirley Chisholm was the presidential pillar. These three women founded the National Political Congress of Black Women. They were all for black women. She ascended October the 12th, 2005. She ascended January 30th, 2006. Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks ascended October 24th, 2005. It's 110 days between her ascension and her ascension that our daughters have held in a sacred period of prayer, fasting, reflection, and in Philadelphia, they saluted. I mean,
the National Congress of Black Women just gave Mayor Cheryl Parker the Cynthia Dolores Nottage Award on King Holiday for the past 2 years. They ain't done nothing for Coretta. And so when you look at Concerned Black Clergy, it's ran by Isaac and his Morehouse minions. It's not about labels. We put them to the side. It's Women's History Month. It's about our sons and our daughters. Spiritual fatherhood, they've taken pictures. None of them have ever raised our daughters. And they say, I ran a prison ministry. I have since 2007. The men of our community, they're not soft. They've had enough of these political pussies pimping the pulpit, getting paid on our daughters. The 501c3 game is over. You know, that's where you create a 501c3 to solve a community issue, but you work in that budget. So that grant money pays your mortgage, your car note, your grocery bill, and you'll never really fix the problem because you'll put yourself out of a job. Time out. No more political money games. All right? So Urban Concerned Clergy is not performance clergy, not public relations clergy, not photo op clergy, not platform clergy, not clergy who only show up when there's blood on the pavement and a press camera on the sidewalk. We not that. They not like us. We Urban Concerned Clergy. It's not a black or white issue. You either concerned with our urban condition or you just driving in from the suburbs to get some PR for your political aspirations. Urban Concerned Clergy is for those in the trenches. Before the crisis, during the crisis, and after the crisis. Martin Luther King Jr., last time he touched the text, used the Good Samaritan. He said the priest, the political relations priest. And the lazy Levite saw the situation and walked by, but not the Good Samaritan. He stopped. Bandage and oil dealt with the wound and the infection. That's what we mean by urban. Not style, not slang, not trend, but trenches. And some of us, we've been there our whole lives. When county initiatives came and went, we still here. When funding came and went, we still here. When public attention came and went, we still here. When the grants came and went, we still here. When the institutions moved on, we still here. That's why Yolanda Denise King birthed Urban Success University as an independent voice for our urban youth that couldn't be politically or corporately controlled. Why she put me and positioned me as her dean. And why I think her students have elected me as their national president-elect. Why? Because they want a seat at the table. They got incredible ministries, incredible things, but every time they come, they being stiff-armed by Shannon Jones. Everybody in Concerned Black Clergy like 80 years old or over. Look at their entrepreneurial head. They can barely walk in. They're not going to bring tech to our community. We did. The Kingdom Marketplace, Digital Resurrection of Progress Plaza. We're literally, and we literally delivered our students the world's first generative engine optimized entrepreneurial ecosystem.
the world's first AI-powered Kingdom Business Referral Network. AI Smart Matching. They give it away for free. Go to CompleteYourProfile.com and complete your profile. Upgrade. Put a couple dollars in the pockets of our daughters. They got nothing. Zero. Zip. Nada. Do I need to teach that? That this is the original creative arts and youth department of the King Center, mixed with Sully's and Mama Grace's entrepreneurial ministry. You know, it's our mama's word. You know, Mama Grace, that's the mentor. They go her mentees. They go Yoki Mama, and let me put it to y'all like this. I'm this old. Hold on. What I just did. Yeah, donate $1. But I just did something. I ain't want to do it. I ain't want to do it. What I did it. I want to get back. Okay, here we go. Y'all remember when T.I. and 50 and Lil Major popped up? Nigga, disrespect my mama. Fuck you niggas up. But, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Cause it almost happened. She made her sons take that nonviolent pledge. And so my big brother, that's Isaac and them age, she sent her little lightning rod. You know, lightning rod doesn't cause the storm. It's to have a little higher in the house, absorb the power of the storm, redirect it, so it don't hit the house. Just lightning rod. Oh, we gotta turn the page. Time to 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 turn the page. When you hear the trumpet. When you hear the trumpet. When you hear the trumpet. You're gonna turn the page. We got the spirit in our office.
Have respect for your covenants. For the dark places of the earth are full of habitations of cruelty. Some of the things that have happened in your life, you think they just happened. Sometimes they were demonically engineered. But today we call on the God of the armies of the heavens and the earth. Because you came here today. Because you came here today. As I sound this alarm, I will blow this trumpet. And as I blow, you're going to say, let God arise. Arise in Nigeria. Let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end. When you hear the sound of the trumpet, you will hold on, let God arise.
Like that though. Amen. This is not a side project. This is not some hobby. It's not some marketing vehicle. Not some accidental brand. Urban Success University is the continuation of mini university. It is an educational, spiritual, entrepreneurial, cultural, and developmental framework born out of a long lineage of urban concern for our people and a refusal to abandon our youth to systems that only know how to name pathology but don't know diddly about building pathways. Yolanda Denise King launched Urban Success University and placed me as the dean. Founding chairman William Herbert Gray ascended. Our founding pastoral covering, Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts, ascended. I inherited this spiritual fatherhood, this sacred stewardship. And like I said before, I'm in my second decade. So this is not anything other than my life's work. I take it very serious. Christ Platoon in North Philadelphia, just the first. There's more, but every time they know what we're doing, they start hating. Just fired one of our mompreneurs working over at Kinley's Catering for not wanting to get caught up in their law enforcement corruption. The shit's extreme. I apologize for my directness. And so I've been privileged by God to carry this through all types of opposition. It's been a case study for my JROTC platoon, the Joe Roberts Officers Training Corps platoon. My students in the Atlanta campus, they saw how we built the Philly campus. They saw the opposition. They were like, yo, we want to work. And that's what Warnock was like, ooh, damn, that's what y'all teaching? We can't handle that. It's going to upset our political affiliations. Eric Vincent Thomas was like, ooh, but then, damn, it's just like when I started. I'm going to tell you what happened to Eric Vincent Thomas Church. When the community started hearing what we were doing and the outside church, then some of the elder deacons was like, I'm going to tell you what Eric going through. Eric going through right now what he went through when he was trying to be the pastor. We had him and somebody else, and the other person was building something good, and Eric ain't from the community, from Woodward, and we was about to have a split, and Eric's wife did something political and put him there. I don't know why a lot of my sermonically shallow brothers in Christ are intimidated by the way that the Lord uses me to proclaim. A lot of them talk in the building. I've been preaching on the ball court, the block, the trap, my whole life. Like when we talk about going in before we go out, filling up before we go en route, loving God before we love neighbor, it's a parallel of Mark 1, Mark the millionaire of the gospel. 29, tending the temple, checking his homie mom-in-law, fixing that situation, healing folk in the hood. It never says he went to sleep. It says Mark 1:35, early in the morning, he in the trenches all night. Early in the morning before daybreak, Jesus go to a desolate place and there he prayed. So how was he able to open the eyes of the blind? How was he able to move so instantaneously in the power of the Holy Ghost? Because he went in early to get orders from the Father. And you don't need that. You can go to the religious seminary, the colonizer classroom, slave master seminary, whatever. You can go to school, get your degree, apply for a job, arrive, show up on Sunday morning, Wednesday night, hidden behind your desk, protected by your security and entourage. You don't need this. But if you're going in the trenches, you need a different type of covenantal conviction to take this into places that the classroom, well, not the kingdom classroom, but that classroom doesn't prevail you to go. And so that's just what it is. And there is an overwhelming amount of 15, 16, 17-year-olds, up 24-year-olds, they with it. But they, you know, the days of I got the building, I got the title, I'm gonna open the door, and you're gonna have to come in, sit down, shut up, and follow my leadership. Them days over. All right, our kids, they're quick discerning, and they asking the question like it's not the same. 137, maybe 136 anniversary of historic Ebenezer. Gwendolyn Middlebrook said, "You want to know why I'm so loquacious of speech? Because Daddy King used to pound on the desk, pound on the desk, pound on the desk, say I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. You Negroes too quiet over the things that matter." And it was because of the fact she said, "You want to know where Daddy King was? On Sunday he was on the pulpit, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they saw him." See, our parents had a Howard Creasy. They had a Cameron Alexander. They had a Joseph Lawrence Roberts. They had a Joe Lowry. They had a Daddy King. They had an ML. They had somebody who brought a soft, good speech that mom and them loved on Sunday, but they epitomized the kingdom. They demonstrated their conviction in what they preached on the block Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And now we got these new jack niggas that they ain't built for that. And so Stephen Covey got a book. I should have added it. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in it, in the 5th chapter, page 235, is something that a lot of us got to read. Seek first to understand and then be understood. The days of talking at our children are over. You know, we must understand and acknowledge the spiritual abuse they've been subjected to over the past 20 years. The trauma that they've been subjected to, and talk to them from a loving standpoint, not a condemning one. Them kids. 60 years ago, they used to call them folk. No, they our kids. My kids. I apologize. I'm not going to say this more than once. And so we've had to carry this, and our children have had to carry this, and they feel so politically and pretentiously entitled, like the community got to kiss their ass in order to serve the community. No. Joshua 5th chapter 6th verse. None of the men who crossed the Red Sea get to cross the Jordan. Why? Because they didn't obey the voice of the Lord. What did Moses say? Don't lift up any idols, or he'll shut you down. Why? Because he's a jealous God. Your budget's an idol. Your PR is an idol, right? And so he's shutting them down, right? Why? Because God gave us the ability to get the building, the ability to get the position, the ability to get the influence, the ability to get the wealth, not so we can become hoarders and get caught up in the material trappings of success, our Bentley, Beamer, Benz, title, and pulpit. No, so we can be conduits of his grace, conduits of his goodness, conduits of his mercy, right? To the next generation. Why did he give us these things? So he keep the covenant he made with our fathers. And we got a lot of new jacks. I don't know where these niggas came from. I don't know where their teacher was. And I don't know who raised these Negroes. But you're not disrespecting the lineage of this village. Period. And there's a difference between physical descendancy and spiritual descendancy. Don't make me preach Isaac and Dexter and Alveda using Exodus 32. Because Moses on the mountain, Joshua up on the mountain, Aaron biologically related to Moses but wasn't chosen to go up on the mountain. Bernice, why did you go to law school? Seminary. You're failing out law school. Isaac, what's your degree? Political science. So the Bible says that Aaron fashioned together the golden calf with his engraving tool. And he lied. He said, this is the God who brought you out. Bold-faced lie. Deuteronomy 6 chapter 20th verse. Moses says it was God. All right, cool. But God, cool. Fast forward the videotape. Joshua 4th chapter, 20th verse, 420. For the culture. And the stones, which they took out of the Jordan, Joshua set up at Gilgal and spoke to the children. See, in 620, he was talking to the fathers. Isaac, you don't qualify. Cool. Now he's talking to the children. Then he says, when your children ask their fathers, Isaac, you don't qualify. And time to come, I'm the closest thing your mama got to seeing a grandkid, spiritually. When your sons and your daughters ask you in time to come, say, Israel crossed over the Jordan for dry ground because the Lord dried up the waters before we crossed over. Just like he did the Red Sea. That says that it was God. It was God. It was God. They created the golden calf. And so what did God say? Trip canceled. What? Why he preach like that? They built me like this. And I've carried this as a chairman through all of this opposition, laughing at him. I told you, like David laughing at Goliath. Y'all coming at me with sword and shield, political might. I'm calling at you in the name of the Lord of hosts. I've carried it through grief, carried it through misunderstanding, carried it through institutional cold shoulders, carried it through seasons where I had to use direct sales. Y'all see me 6, 10 minutes, 7-figure earner in direct sales. That's social entrepreneurship. And when the vote cut your funding and redirect it, and you got to go in the trenches and come up with a for-profit, not to put in your pocket, but to launch, sustain, and expand your not-for-profit efforts. Yeah. I'm the Lion of Zion of this generation. Yeah, like Sully was, of his. Business systems. I'm a system science specialist, if you don't know. Behavioral science specialist, if you don't know. One of the illest ones independently. I'm in the platform building. I carried it through all that. Directory work, digital tools, social entrepreneurship. Not for personal vanity, y'all. But to sustain, expand. USU. Why? It's the work of our mothers. That's what this project has meant for me. That's what this move means for me. When Sully licensed me at 8, I'll give you a backstory. So all you do is go behind the desk and give him a little Easter speech. Get in the car. He pulled up at the little apartments with the mamas. I'm finna go play with the kids. Nah, come with me. He praying with grandmas. Pulled up on Zion, the Zion Improvement Association. Pulled up on OIC. Then he pulled up on Progress Plaza. This the job? I'm literally living my dream. I need to say that to all of you, because some people still don't understand the entrepreneurial economics of the remnant. Anything you've seen me do in business, corporate, hood, church, everything in between is tied to this mission. Anything you see me do in direct sales, relationship sales, global sales is tied to the sustainability of USU. Anything you've seen me do in platform building, tied to the launch, funding, protecting, and expansion of the remnant. Our sons, our daughters, our community, our training, our future structure. Y'all just realizing how the fuck Warnock is. I've been dealing with his ass for 20 years. Hood, no. So no, this ain't about personality. I love the nigga. Yo, if God's ways are above our ways and war and his thoughts above our thoughts, if Warnock wouldn't have been Warlock, God wouldn't allow us to be independent. I mean, shit, I would have liked the pastor we voted for. But through all this opposition, you know, it's not accidental or coincidental that on Martin Luther King Jr.'s ascension date, Governor Brian Kemp signed Senate Bill 36. Y'all looking at the, all them old bills. Y'all don't realize how powerful this is for the remnant, for the kingdom. It ends denominational tyranny. So no, it ain't got nothing to do with personality. I don't know whether you can see it or not. This is totally prophetic. This is about infrastructure. And since we talk in infrastructure, let's talk about the Lion of Zion, Leon Howard Sullivan. Because we got the papers over at Emory. I believe I done filled up their campus now. And so what too many people don't understand is, yeah, he gave select patronage to Martin Luther King Jr. And it became Operation Breadbasket. But it's so much more than a boycott. We just seen them folk come up with a boycott for a year. What did it do for us? Nothing. Watch this. 100 years ago, W.E.B. Du Bois had a work called The Negro in Business. It's Atlanta. Can I talk to my Negroes in business? E.B. Du Bois, the Negro in Business, said nothing, zero, zit, nada, nothing positive can ever take place in a community that fails to recirculate its dollar. That's why Sully came up with select patronage. That's what we're doing. Withdrawing our economic support from corporations, for profit and not, that get paid on the hood, pimp in the hood, and don't do nothing in the hood. And redirecting it over to our businesses in the community that invest in the community and rebuild the community. Well, the first step is having one place where everybody is. That's why we did the paper church business directories and the generation before. That's why we have the Kingdom Marketplace, the digital resurrection of Progress Plaza. Get registered for free. Complete your profile. Go to completeyourprofile.com. Why free? Because some people can't afford to upgrade. Life be lifing. You need this kingdom patronage. But watch this. I'm going to ask you one thing. Kingdom reciprocity. When you get a customer from the Kingdom Marketplace, make sure you patronize somebody else on the Kingdom Marketplace. If you're in business and you want to pay it forward, go in and upgrade and patronize our daughters who built the Kingdom Marketplace, and 100% of the proceeds go to them. Want a detailed analysis? You could read Bill, Brother Bill, but it might take you a while to get it. I don't know if it's, going to be readily available, but you can go to Build Sister Build and get our daughter's blueprint. Yeah, like that though. And I don't talk fast. A lot of y'all just been programmed to think slow. Daddy King used to say, "Are you listening? I can't talk to you if you're listening. I got some other stuff I could have been doing. All right, and I got a lot of information in a short period of time." Bottom line, boycotting enough. What did it do for us? Nothing. It got the talking head to act like he had some credibility with the corporations, redirect some funding, and then he got to say it's over till black women pop up like, nigga, you ain't starting in the first place. Oh, well, let me apologize and tell y'all I'm not connected to the community. We knew that. And so ain't nobody taking shots at them. They got their big congregations, millions and hundreds of thousands. But my kids, my small businesses, my community is bleeding out. So a boycott is not enough. A boycott may send a message, but it doesn't build an urban economy. It don't. A boycott might create a statement, but it doesn't create a workforce pipeline. Boycott makes some political noise, but it doesn't recirculate our dollar in our community. A boycott might produce some political pressure, but it doesn't produce jobs for my urban youth. Boycott might get you a headline, but it doesn't create training for our sons and daughters in our community. We don't need another boycott. We need a redirection. Go to selectpatronage.com and get the details. Let's redirect our dollars. Some intentional circulation in our community. We need to prioritize that. How about some economic discipleship? You an elder, you've been in business for years. You won't know all this digital stuff. Kids came out the womb with these smartphones. I'm their dean. I can attest. I watch my female students study search engine optimization, search engine marketing, social media marketing. When Yolanda was around, they were creative artists. Now they just AI artisans, right? I call them geniuses, baby girl geniuses. Every day they showing me some different way to do that, yeah, all like that. And so they don't have businesses. They want to showcase their digital brilliance, and you give them the business wisdom. We don't have this intergenerational conversation we need. 6 weeks for the end of summer, and we got the infrastructure. Just need your participation. Why don't you get registered? Why don't you go ahead and donate $1? You ain't got, buy a laptop from the pawn shop and donate it. Buy an impact wrench and donate it. It'll mean a life to a young boy. Just had one, 15 years young. Grandma's struggling. He don't even want to tell his grandma his underwear don't fit no more. He hustled, made some money. You know what he want to do first with the money he made? Early this morning, on the break job he learned how to do, he want to get that to his grandmama to help his grandmama with groceries, right? Sidebar came to me, Dean K, that talk you had, if I get this to my grandma, can you take me, not to Family Dollar, can you take me to Walmart? I need to buy some underwear. That's what our son's going through. Pull up at Walmart, got my young buck at the gas station, pumping gas. Telling you right off the bat, I ain't selling drugs. This is how I'm trying to get my sneaker money. Because my mom got me and my 2 siblings. She don't got money to buy me these shoes, but for this basketball camp I'm going to, it's all about your shoes, so I'm pumping gas to pay for shoes. You know what an impact gun to mean to him? Like an old pressure washer you can buy from Facebook Marketplace. We got pressure washers, the little foam gun. They got pressure washers, the little foam gun like $20. It allowed them to put that foam on your car. What? Donate toward their t-shirts. Right. They, anything, some little gas for one of the vehicles our single moms using. They can't use Uber. They got the kids. They going to the supermarket. But they're going to the supermarket, then they go to the food bank, then they're going over there. They got all them vans just sitting there. Why don't you buy a gas card and donate it? You always seeing us in the school, in the stores, after school, we buying snacks. Just seeing us in the Family Dollar. My kids like, look, don't buy me no snacks. We selling the candy. How about you upping us? Look, I got y'all. Go ahead. $40, load up. Shit them with the bags. We was young. The old heads was giving up different work. Now it's candy at Family Dollar. That's the work. They headed over there to the Beltline. Now, imagine if we had a building where we could get them all in. We got them digitally online. They control the buildings. A lot of they mamas, single mamas, y'all want to see my phone. I just got a new iPhone 17 with AT&T. Look, I think this is a Metro A14. You know why? Because our daughters, when they go through our digital domination class, I give them a smartphone. Single mom, working on it. She was building profiles with this, doing generative engine optimization on this. So we not like them who saying, give us money for what we're going to do. We saying, yo, like what William Herbert Gray did when he left the United Negro College Fund. Left Congress to chair the United Negro College Fund. Felt like you raised billions and billions. He said, forget about what I did. Do I need to show you how great the need is? I love what Jazz did, Morehouse man. Not only did Axum go diamond, not only did he get another joint for all hands assembly. Make sure if you need something done around the house, you go to Kingdom Marketplace and check them out. But because of the free profiles, right? Our daughters, they do a lot of work they don't get paid on. You remember when you were launching your business, right? And so some folks were tipping them, sending $20. I'm like, oh, okay. I step it up, send $50. I'm from HU. They from Morehouse. They my Kingdom brothers, but we like healthy competition, real tigers and bisons. Well, I won't got no respect for them Frosted Flakes. And so, healthy competition. And so Jazz go, oh, what he doing? Kate say, Timmy, you 50? Jazz sent $100. Corey sent $100. The girls, in order to perpetuate some income, they write featured articles, right? They did a free featured article on Jazz. Now, this is what I know. I know that our daughters allow you to proofread the article. I know they sent it to Jazz the night before to proofread it. Talking about, because I'm the dean, right? How you going to showcase him? He my brother, competition. And his tip bigger than mine. They wrote an article that tip bigger than mine. You know what Jazz did that night? Tipped them an extra $100. See, you could do the same thing. They got a cash app, $ the Yokis, YOKIS. You can go to Urban Science University, scroll all the way down, donate $1 or $2. I'm just letting, because I don't want folk to say, you against Morehouse. No, I'm against you Frosted Flakes. Love real tigers and real men in our community. And that's why I took the label off. And about the labels, you either a clown or a king. And so we're intentional about this. This community rebuilding. Collective visibility of those getting it done. And this structured intentional support. We're not playing them games. We don't need to. Because this the real move. Period. The Kingdom Marketplace, built by our daughters. Now, the platform itself, because we talked about the United Nations global celebration of people of African descent. This is the Urban Success University student deliverable. Because the 3 principles of the United Nations Global Celebration of People of African Descent are: first, recognition; second, justice; third, a development. Well, when you look at the Kingdom Marketplace, it's an ecosystem of recognition, an ecosystem of justice, an AI-driven, generative engine optimized entrepreneurial ecosystem of development, where our people can register, become digitally visible, found, get supported, and provided with the digital education they need to compete in these AI-powered marketing streets. And the beautiful thing, the most beautiful thing about it, is that it's been built in large part through the labor and digital brilliance of our female students of Urban Success University, the geniuses, my baby girl geniuses. These young women, I always call them babies. These amazing young women are proving that if you invest in them, they can build the systems, acronym, save yourself stress, time, energy, and money that we need with value. So when I tell you to register, I'm not just saying sign up for their online directory. Online directories are dead. Right? We're in the space of generative engine optimization. Them blue checks, that's over. It's about being picked. And when you go to complete your profile and you click around the ecosystem, you're going to understand what that is. A little tab up there called What is GEO? Nobody else can even explain it. Our daughters are providing the solution. And I'm saying to each and every single one of us who has a business, a nonprofit, a ministry, in government making an impact, you need to register so we know who you are. When I say upgrade, I'm not talking about take advantage of all the amazing features. I'm saying put a couple of dollars in the pockets of our daughters. Help them work. Help them build. Help them train. I can give them all of the information, but some of the stuff they have to practically practice. You need that stuff. If you went gold, $1,000, it's got $15,000 to $25,000 worth of digital deliverables you need to succeed out here in these digital AI marketing streets. If you got it from one of them digital marketing firms who intentionally place it or price it beyond your reach. But, man, spend $1,000 with our daughters. Get a diamond profile. Let me show you one. I'll show you one of the founding diamonds that over and over and over always investing in our kids. Let's go to the Kingdom Marketplace real quick. Right? And you scroll down, welcome to the world's first generative engine optimized GEO AI powered ecosystem for Kingdom business owners. Scroll down and bam, right there. Featured article, Wheels and Tires by Bailey. Let's check him out. I mean, they got Mr. Bailey and Miss Ange looking amazing. Look. Mr. Bailey got 30 years on me. Then, I mean, you want to talk about being visible. You come up here, I mean, you put tires. And we're fully integrated with Google Business Profiles, fully integrated with Google Maps, fully integrated with all the major social media marketing platforms. You're going to get both. You hit Wheels and Tires by Bailey. Boom. Look. Here goes. What do you know about this? Let me read it to you. Wheels and Tires by Bailey is a trusted Atlanta tire shop with over 40 years of service providing affordable new tires, used tires, custom rims, flat tire repair at complete... my pad died. But check it out. I mean... And see, it's generative and optimized. It's written so AI can read it. I'll talk about all the stuff that he provides so AI can recommend him. See, when you Google stuff, you know the paragraph at the top? This is how you get recommended by AI. Them articles drive more traffic. All of that is connected in our daughters' for upgrading. Matter of fact, first 100 folk, bronze or above, will get a free article. Next 100, just because. Why not? So our daughters can impact more folks in the community. So that we can gain more economic dignity. When you upgrade, you're helping them participate in the future instead of being pushed to the margins. That's ministry. Let me redefine it, demystify it. It's a fourfold formula, as I was taught by Sully and Herbie, Leon Howard Sullivan, and William Herbert Gray III. It's where you take the resources of God, utilized through the people of God, in order to meet the needs of the people of God and bring God glory. Let's see how this works out. We use the resources of God. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So find something on the planet through the people of God that you can use to help somebody and let God get the glory from the story. This is ministry. Kingdom economics. African Christianity practically applied in the urban American context. What? I can't help but go deeper and deeper. Let's go a little deeper. See, one of the reasons for the kingdom understanding framework is because the public arena we operate in can't be entered with sloppy religion. It requires wisdom. If you go into our public arena trying to force denominational doctrine in the block, basketball court, my urban schools, you're going to get shut down. If you go in there trying to make kids sign up to your sect, you're going to get blocked. You go in there without understanding the real framework, the real shared principles, the real civic language, the cultural nuance, our educational responsibility, you lose from the start. You show up at a prayer rally that could have shifted the whole Southwest side and shoot yourself in the foot like Shannon Jones did. Tanked. Concerned Black Clergy forever. It's recorded. 2 summers ago. He know about it. He ain't repaired. The kids came over and bust the windows out of the bus that Eric Vincent Thomas fundraised their parents and grandmoms for. He tried to get them locked up. It's over. You can partner with whatever little political group you want and have them folk come over there and talk about you gave away food. You'll never have the people come in your building. They don't fuck with you. They just starving. And you got Concerned Black Clergy and Shannon and these ministerial groups pimping God's people up and down Camilton Road, Abernathy, and everything in between, from Magic City over to the fucking West End Mall, over to Greenbrier and beyond. And downtown, fronting like they're heroes because they got a meeting once Monday, every Monday, where the politicians ride in and they ride in, do a live that nobody watching, and then roll out. It's a public relations platform for politicians. It does nothing in the hood. His executive director filled out a form to get registered, and Black women run the world, and our daughters won't even promote her. Same form Willie Watkins filled out, got to work, reverses charges. Consistency is key in these clerical colonizer classroom coin cliques. If you want to get in the trenches and you want to be effective and you want to go in there without understanding the real work, and you want to talk from the top down, you gotta, if you want to be effective, you gotta seek first to understand and then be understood. That's why we built frameworks that walk through the Bible and the Quran side by side. Not to flatten them, not to erase differences, but to identify foundational principles that strengthen community, youth, households, while respecting the diversity of our community. That's kingdom, not compromise. That's strategy. Why? Because we grew up out here with boots on the ground, watching our spiritual fathers, without seeth thou becometh. We understand the difference between teaching religion and teaching kingdom principles. We understand the difference between denominational control and foundational formation. We understand the difference between coercion and instruction. That's why our language is different, because language matters. That's why our framework is different, because framework matters. That's why the way we teach identity different, because identity matters. Which brings me to this YN issue. I told you. I told you. I told you. I go deeper and deeper. Now let's deal with it.
Your presence is so excellent.
A lot of grown folks are hearing my young kings, my geniuses, hearing what young people say, and they are immediately rushing to condemn them. But if you are really a teacher of God's word, a real disciple of the master, a real theological student, and you understand the responsibility of being a community leader, you don't react to language, you decode language. A real father isn't condemning his kids for what they say. He's listening to what they're saying, what's inside of what they're saying, so he can father them. You ask, what is it that these kids, my kids, are reaching for? They're in a vacuum. That's what this is, an identity vacuum. But what identity vacuum is this language trying to fill? What hunger, spiritual, is underneath this slang? What longing is underneath this performance? Those of us with daughters, yeah, she just want daddy time. What's up, baby? Nothing. Hey, daddy. I want my daddy. I want my daddy. I want my daddy. I want my daddy. Oh, yeah? What happened? Y'all want some Bible on it? 1 Samuel, 7th chapter. First number of completion is 3. Second number of completion is 4. Adam, you get 7. You multiply them, you get 12. I'm going to jump in at number 7. And let's make the Philistines the politician. Now, when the politicians heard that the children of Fulton County had gathered together on the southwest side, the lords of the politicians went up against Israel, the kingdom community, with their chaos. And when the children of Israel heard it, they were afraid of the politicians. Raphael Gamaliel Warlock, Shannon Sambo, Frosted Flake Jones, Eric Vincent Thomas, John Vaughn Flack, Glitterball Luther, wanna be Vandross ass, Lion. Nigga, don't you ever step an historic Ebenezer pulpit on HBCU Day and watch anything Bison. You ain't a Bison, but then again, you niggas lie so much. That's like Raphael Gamaliel Warnock. He told that honorable Raphael Warnock, but nigga, you went on the King holiday on 2026 and told a bold-faced lie. You even tried to pull Ambassador Andrew Young in it, talking about the March on Selma was about a political grab of power. Nigga, that's a bold-faced lie. How mama and them say it? From the pits of hell. Everybody knows that Reverend James Orange was locked up for helping Mama Amelia Isadora Platts Boynton Robinson. And no, nigga, that ain't my grandmama. I ain't talking to y'all. I'm putting Warnock in his place. That's not my grandmama. That's my Uncle Bruce mama. That's my cousin Dr. Carver mama. My father, Samuel William Boynton Jr. Mama, my grandmama is Pearl E. Jackson. You niggas, by the time we get to the story, gonna realize them Jackson boys will be playing about their mamas. Anyway, Reverend James Orange was locked up for helping Mama Amelia get folk registered to vote. And the folk in the community thought that the racist police, like the ones on your payroll, Warnock, was going to murder Reverend Orange. So they organized a march to get him out of jail. And what had happened was the state-sanctioned racist Alabama state troopers that was abusing their law enforcement power, like you got the National Park Service and some of your homies over GSU doing against the remnant. They started to rape black women, intimidate black children, murder black boys, took all the cameras and all the lights and shit, and they ran Mrs. Jackson, old man Jackson into the diner. And this young community contributor, you know how them Jackson boys be, he saw his mom in there, and he was like, Jim, you go in there, you might die. He was like, well, shit. He kind of remixed that Job thing out, and Job said, nigga came out into the world, nigga shall return. He said, that's where I came from, and if that's what I'm going out over, I'm going out. Ran in, pulled that pecker neck cop off his mama, took 2 in the guts, and the shots isn't what killed him. But he bled out 8 days later because of the second surgery. And what happened over there at Brown was, I think it was Mary Foster. I'm not exactly sure. Gotta ask my auntie Betty. She the foot soldier. She'll tell you. But I think it was Mary Foster. Like, you know what we ought to do? We ought to take Jimmy's body and go dump it on George Wallace's desk. And they were coming over that Edmund Pettus Bridge. So my nigga, all of the history says that nothing about Selma was about a political grab of power. But you know, because the colonizer, we transfer our story orally. Unto us a son is born, not a senator, you sell out. But no. See, in our tradition, we transfer things orally. As an African people, you know, a son grew up learning from our fathers and our mothers, and he learned the language of his generation. Then they had kids, and they raised their kids. That's not what the colonizers do. They try to do it in Philadelphia with Robert Nix. They do it in Atlanta with your ass. History repeats itself. Our mamas taught us that. And so the colonizer comes in, and what they do is they take shit over. They rewrite the story. And then they try to persecute anybody who don't go along with the story. Like you. It's hard for you to talk about the weaponization of law enforcement over good community folk because you're doing the same shit on Auburn Avenue against the boys and the men's ministry that was baptized and mentored by Joe Roberts. But then again, my boy, that's your history. Because you know, you can't ever escape. My homies in Harlem, my boy, we hip-hop, we culture. You brought Castro to Harlem as a youth minister. Take my glasses off, because they make sure folks can see. You went to Baltimore, and black boy from the hood got sexually abused. You got locked up. You was within your legal right. Then you came to Ebenezer. And I'm going to go ahead and testify. I beat the bullshit out of Wilbur Willis. Your first youth minister? Squeeze that boy butt cheeks. We knew you wasn't going to investigate because of your history. You ain't going to look that up. We knew Shannon wasn't going to investigate because he came from New Birth with Eddie Long with that boy shit. He wasn't going to investigate. You two motherfuckers diddied the desk. You brought Farnsworth Bentley to Youth Day at Ebenezer. All your heroes got Diddy and Epstein files. All my heroes, they got Cointel profiles. We not the same. And so the kids, I'm in the book. The kids were scared of the politicians. Verse 8, 1 Samuel 7. So the children of Israel said to Samuel, do not cease to cry out to the Lord our God for us, that he may save us from the hand of these political pussies who trying to pimp our parents' pulpit. Non-Pentecostal and non-prophetically, I might add. Verse 9, and Samuel took a suckling lamb, offered a burnt offering to the Lord. Samuel cried out to the Lord for the children of Israel, and the Lord answered. Now when Samuel was offering a burnt offering, the politicians drew near. You niggas even brought that bullshit in my Fulton County building. And the Philistines, we don't like Trump over here. You niggas playing both sides of the fence. But the Lord thundered, maybe that's why I'm the lightning rod. And the Philistines upon the politicians, and so confused them. Because, I mean, it's only a matter of time, because it's public record, that we pulled down Kinley Waller's testimony in that magistrate court case. Damn. Did I not fuck up the service for him and his wife? Because that meant that I didn't pierce the corporate veil. I mean, I lost, not intentionally.
I would never do that. But I did make sure I questioned him under oath for all this shit that we needed. You know, you ought to respect my word and my work. You know, I had to earn my stripe for it. Now, you know, Stephen O'Neill took out Bill Cosby. Or not. You ain't tell the folk. In 2012, I took out Stephen O'Neill, our prison minister. Sacrifice. The crime carried no jail time. But Judge O'Neill could remand me for 180 days. I told that pecker neck, let me get it. It was how I got access to the Montgomery County Correctional Facility. Drew Diegler turned it out during Ramadan. Had a trial with the same lawyer that roofed Bill Cosby. Beat him head up in 10 minutes. Folks said, well, that's because you spiritual son of William Herbert Gray. Herbie ascended the next year.
War not!
I'm earning my second star with you, boy. How the fuck you gonna call the Secret Service on me? Don't you ever call my big brothers on me, boy? And see, right now, let me get out that political shit. Because that's all you got is political shit. You just like your father, the junk man. Because all you be spitting is junk, man! Our youth, with this YN thing, they're longing for identity. And see, they don't want to be choir boys. They want something rough, rugged, and raw. And when you look at the representation, I mean, shit, from 1934 to 1999, my brand, the Heritage Sanctuary, the Historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, was giving the American government that word. Now that we got the first political pastor across the street, that shit is watered down. Literally. You know, we had to come up with the Believing Soldiers because they done, you know, Warnock, you invited Donald Trump to the Bible study. He said leave the preaching up to J.D. Vance. You had Devin Crawford run your ending mass incarceration. That nigga is soft as drugstore cotton. I mean, softer than toasted marshmallow. And he had a sermon talking about that's not our Jesus. The shit you preach, Warnock, that's not our Jesus. You have taken the most rough, rugged, raw revolutionary ever touched the physical earth, and Yeshua, Jesus, and turned him into a pussy. And so I'm not, you know, let me get into the academic circles because I had to bring it to the hood for a minute. See, the Heritage Sanctuary of Historic Ebenezer, it is a community congregation. That means that 90% of the people who worship inside of the Heritage lived in the community. So as the shepherd of a Heritage sanctuary of a community congregation, you have to address the needs of the community. When you look at the Horizon, that's a commuter congregation. That means that 95% of those people don't live in our Atlanta metro. They drive in just so they can get the prestige of going to Martin Luther King Jr.'s church. They don't live in our community. So rightfully so, Raphael Gamaliel Warnock, Renee Glover, and John Vaughn, as the organizational leaders of the Horizon Sanctuary, can meet the needs of their politically astute $100,000 and above congregation and never address the needs of the Metro Atlanta. Just get paid on pimping them. Why? Because there's no Metro Atlanta remnant urban youth inside of Ebenezer. You want to know why I think like that? Because that's how a thing thinks. That's how a father thinks. That's how a builder thinks. It's called a SWOT analysis. Find out what's missing and build it. Find out the issue our sons are all under and fix it. I remember when it began. Beat the shit out of Wilbur Willis. Or not, let's tell the truth. He's saying I'm aggressive. He's a redemptive God. I used to be aggressive. You brought Wilbur Willis into Ebenezer, squeezed a little boy butt cheeks. I'm the single father of the congregation. You don't want to investigate. Shannon want to investigate. I tell his mama, well, he going to stay the night at my house. Before we get to my house, I'm calling his mama. Actually, I'm bringing the boys to your house. Trey got fresh sneakers. Run them up to Camp Creek. Take them in and what's the name? Buy them a little outfit so they go to school fresh tomorrow. TJ Maxx, little $40, $50, $100 for both of them. And take them to Wendy's or y'all go eat or something because you know your mind or whatever, and then y'all go have some fun. Where you going? Don't worry about it. I got you. I'll pull up on you when the kids sleep. I'll pull up on Emmy, beat this shit out of him. Told him you ever come around kids again, I'll break both his legs. He did. And did I cover it up for Warnock? Fuck no. Do y'all remember 2011 we had to stop the bull campaign? Gerald Griggs represented the family. Jaheim Herrera, young man in DeKalb County, was getting bullied in school and hung himself. What was he being bullied in school and hung himself? Being called a homosexual. I'm not allowing my sons to get that stigma. And if you want to know why Warnock was attacking Tyson and why the National Park Service was trying to label my son so much, because me and Malcolm Stevens are the only ones who didn't sign a fucking non-disclosure. The boys done grew the fuck up. They don't fuck with you, Warnock. They remember you. And Shannon. And Isaac, bitch ass. What the fuck is y'all doing? And so you can embrace him. I'm embracing him. We're dealing with this YN misunderstanding. Okay? Because YN isn't just about letters. It's about their search for kingdom identity. Let me teach all of you who you really are. Miles Monroe used to be like, do you know who you are? And that's why the Yokis is the young organization of kings internationally serving. Not just because of Yoki being Yoki. We had Grady High School, fact check me, named the Yolanda Denise King High School August 2020. I'm going to tell y'all. Yolanda didn't plan to die, so we don't have the rights to her name, and somebody blocked it. That's why we got Midtown High School right now. Should have been a Yoki High School. So we had to do something under the name of Yoki. So we unanimously voted to rebrand the Bill Gray Basketball League into the Yokis, the Young Organization of Kings, internationally serving. And it gives me the opportunity to jump into this space and deal with my young niggas. Negus. That's what they saying. Young niggas. A young king. A young ruler in training. A young disciple. Do none of you know the original meaning of the word niggas? Mom and them couldn't stand the way the colonizer flipped it. Let me break it down to you. Niggas is an ancient title from East Africa. Ethiopia, y'all remember the Ethiopian eunuch? It means king and ruler. Y'all know we had Christ in Africa before the European rewrite. The word comes from Ge'ez, an ancient Semitic language of Ethiopia. The highest relatable term is Negusa Negat, King of Kings, the Emperor of Ethiopia. Bible written in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. Ge'ez is part of an Afro-Asiatic language family. Same broad family that includes Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. The historical context is the fact that it was used for centuries in Ethiopian civilization. Haile Selassie was called Tanigas, an Ethiopian emperor, ruler. Nigas represents authority, sovereignty, divine kingship. Now, there's a popular claim that some people tried to flip our language. Flip Nigas, which means king, emperor, ruler, into a English slur. Nigger. The phonetic similarity between the two is extremely interesting. Over time, people have identified the word nigger as niggas. But what
God has done in a younger generation is has them reaching through the colonizer classroom and the slave master seminary, pulling toward them their kingdom of God identity. But none of the colonizer classroom clowns can embrace it because they don't know it. The colonizer classroom, the slave master seminary, hadn't prepared them to prophetically parent the next generation of prophets and prophetesses. You know, those folk who told them what to tell our children about how our people interpreted the sacred scroll. The folk who hung our heroes. You know, Silicon Valley still can't figure out how we did them pyramids. You know, on the plantation, we used to have something called buck breaking. It's still around. We got the grandkids are the ones that was buck breaking on the plantation, pimping our prophetic community pulpits. Said that daddy was a junk man. That's why they giving us so much junk. Ain't that right, boy, or not? My man. And that is why we developed the teaching on young niggas, young kings, young rulers in training, young authority under divine discipline. A young man's whose identity is not defined by the slave master system, but reconnected through a kingdom understanding. That teaching matters because behavior follows identity. You don't fix behavior at the deepest level by screaming at people. You fix behavior by restoring identity. When a young brother knows he's more than a statistic, he moves different. When he knows he carries kingship, he thinks different. When he knows he's responsible to serve, responsible to protect, responsible to build, responsible to lead, he moves different. And that is why the Yokis matter. The young organization of kings, I know we out here internationally serving. It's not a catchy phrase. Sacred spiritual formation, identity, discipline, economic development, spiritual formation, community responsibility. That's the model. That is why the work on the ground matters so much. We're not theorizing. We've been in the trenches. We marched with the youth. We covered the youth. We mentored the youth. We clothed the youth. We taught the youth. We brought structure to the youth. We've seen them in the libraries. You've seen them in the suits. You've seen them with us in the parks. We've seen them in the pain. But are you going to meet us in the responsibility? And we've seen what happens when adults fail our children. Programs stop, boys drift, violence rises, people, posture, statements get made. They fundraise, but never raise, because the structure's missing. And so I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to keep saying it. Atlanta youth matter, not as a slogan, but as a governing principle. That means, who gonna cut $1 right now? Who gonna donate a tool right now? Who gonna mentor right now? Who gonna upgrade their business right now? Who gonna support our daughters right now? Who gonna sponsor the copies for Summer Success School right now? Who like Tony at Family Dollar, Ellis at Kroger, John Bailey at Wheels and Bellies? Who gonna provide some jobs? Who gonna deliver some pathways? Give our youth some exposure. Y'all support young Danny over at Kingdom Auto Solutions, that partner with Wheels and Tires by Bailey. You know more than that shade treatment mechanic. Next to what is called Auto Pone. Who gonna give some real infrastructure right now? Urban Concerned Clergy. Who else? Because this fight ain't theoretical. We got 6 weeks till school is out. ICE running around. They just flexed on y'all at the airport. These kids got long guns. Anybody want to open the doors for a safe space? All our daughters want is Wi-Fi, little lunch, and you not trying to control them. Because when the summer hit and the kids outside, then what? So I'm telling you right now, our youth are calling roll. They got a list of folk for me to call and see if you're going to answer. Who like Shay Alexander going to answer? Showed up and showed out. Black women run the world. Some other women out Fulton County building. The women in the Fulton County sheriffs. What? We got some young ladies want to get involved in law enforcement. They are right now, this Sabbath, March the 28th, coming up for questions for Lieutenant Lee and Major Edwards. They love them women. See the women in the courthouse, want to learn from them. Probably want to learn from you too. They want to learn from Angie over at Wheels and Tires by Bailey. She got posture, she don't play. Who else want to donate their story to our daughters? All you got to do is go to blackwomenruntheworld.com and click on it. All this amazing ecosystem, my daughters built it. Why don't you tip them? Go to Urban Concern or Urban Success University. Scroll all the way down and click a link. How do we get to Urban Concern Clergy? What's the website? It's urbanconcernedclergy.com, but it's down right now. Why? Because I don't want it to be about a clergy group. You want to get to the Urban Concern Clergy website? Go to any one of our daughters' website, and at the top of the menu bar, it'll say Urban Concern Clergy. That's my statement. Because we don't need another performance of outrage when nobody's helping to train, employ, teach, and cover our children. Y'all hear how many times I'm saying our children? What'd you say, Daddy King? Make it plain. That's what I'm trying to do, Pop. That's why I'm talking to him plainly. And so I want to say plainly, if you're a business owner, would you please get registered on the Kingdom Marketplace? All you got to do is go to completeyourprofile.com, scroll down, and fill out the Google form. If you want to bypass, upgrade directly, it should be a button right there, upgrade now. If you have the ability to upgrade. If you have resources to give. If you got tools to donate. If you got mentorship, show up. But at least register your business. Because I don't know if you can tell, I'm serious about this. It's like patronage. And when we rebrand the homepage, and it really becomes a marketplace, when you go to a marketplace to shop, I want to tell folk, don't do business with them, and I want to redirect them to you. But I can't do that if you're not registered. And that's why it's free. Y'all know what y'all say. If it's free, it's for me. Leon Howard Sullivan, William Herbert Gray, and Joseph Lawrence Roberts placed me in 3340 Peachtree in Fran Tarkenton's entrepreneurial development and Go Small Biz office. I, in that professional capacity, saw 480,000 small businesses come through that ecosystem in 20 years. And this side project that we were getting ready for this, when Yolanda shut her eyes in 2007 until 2015, that's when I prepared for this because I had a 10-year compete. During 2007, 2015, we did 403 paper church business directories. We registered 48,000 Christian business owners. Everybody's getting invited. Right now, obviously, with Senate Bill 36, we're focused on Georgia. And so the 46 directories in Georgia, there's over 500 folk that registered at Newburgh. Over 500 at Elizabeth, over, I think it was 400 at House of Hope, over 300 at Impact. Now, those four ministries, unfortunately, their entrepreneurial ministries crashed. I don't know if they rebuilt it, but we're not waiting for the top down. We're doing it from the bottom up. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not the billion-dollar owner of a tech company yet. But let me give you advice or something. Y'all remember Tom Walton, founder of IBM? Let me give you Dun & Bradstreet first. His long story short. He was a 40-year-old felon. His wife left him. His kids disowned him. He got kicked out of the town he grew up in.
a lot of y'all would have been in the corner with a towel over your head. But my man is a poster boy for persistence. Y'all into Think and Grow Rich. Study the top 500 most successful, powerful, influential people or influential people in the world. 13 things they have in common. Chapter number 9 is persistence. Second paragraph, second sentence. Men who accumulate great fortunes are typically known as ruthless and cold-blooded. However, they're misunderstood. What they have is willpower, which they mix. I guess I should read it. Willpower, which they mix with persistence, place back of their desires to ensure the attainment of their objectives. My objective is to register one. There's 1,000 folks registered. I just cut 400 folk because it's so digitally advanced that I cut the 400 folk that were registered from India and Dubai. They got businesses inside of the continental United States, but they do their digital marketing with them big SEO firms. Most of them are in India and Dubai that are registered on the Kingdom Marketplace. They weren't registered through our daughters. So I just took 400, 500, almost damn near people out. I got about another 50 or 60 that I'm scanning. And so the count's going to go from 9, I think it's like 900 right now. It'll be like 500 when I eventually get through screening in about an hour or so when I'm done talking to y'all. And I promised our daughters that we're going to register at least 500 more folk before the end of the summer. Okay? All right. And I'm going to spearhead 100 upgrades. They allow me to throw that free article in there for y'all. Okay? And so, like that though. But the biggest assignment on Black Women Run the World, our daughters were kicking it off at Elizabeth. It got blocked last year. And so Dr. Dennis Kimbrough wrote Think Grow Rich, a Black Choice. He wrote What Makes It Great, Great. He wrote Wealth Choice. I watched him. Iconic work. Spent 7 years of his life interviewing 1,000 black millionaires, 3 of the 6 black billionaires, and putting all their secrets in his wealth choice. And he says every day you have a choice. You can accept the circumstances, situations as they are, or you can change. If you change, everything will change. If you don't change, nothing will change. If you want the condition of our community to go, you might have to change the clergy group that you support. If you change, everything will change. If you just don't change, nothing will change. But of all of the incredible publications that Dr. Kimbrough has given us, his greatest work is What Has Kept Me Standing. It's a collection of 1,000 letters of black mamas and black grandmamas. And so we want to take that to the next dimension. Our daughters, they want to interview you ladies in ministry, interview you ladies in nonprofit. They want to interview you ladies in business, interview you ladies in ministry, interview you ladies in government, the ones that really put in work. And they're going to write articles about you. And that's going to become the blueprint for them to study you in the generative optimization world. Now, if you want to rank high, it's a great way. So if you know of an amazing woman in business, ministry, nonprofit, government, go to blackwomenruntheworld.com and nominate her. And before we go back to school in August down south, in September up north, we want to have 1,000 articles and interviews of black women. So I'm gonna be focused. I ain't got time to talk to them weirdos about what the frick they got going on. I don't care about what they got going on. That's the assignment. All right? And to give y'all who upgrade access to Kingdom business owners, entrepreneurship, tech, AI, the amount of education you're gonna get is gonna be amazing. And so I want to ask you for your patronage. I don't know what they doing, but I ain't got no grants in Georgia. I ain't got no budget in Georgia. It's coming out of my pocket. I'm a little skinny. And so we need more. And donate if you can donate. But if not, and you're driving a car, you need your AC recharged. You need your oil changed. You need some work done. You need it washed. Pull up to Whitehall and Oak. Wheels and Tires by Bailey. Kingdom Auto Solutions. And patronize our kids. If you don't have a business, you're not going to patronize them, let them wash your car. Give them a good tip. Show up. You know, summer 21 to summer 24, Fulton County Big Brothers Anonymous, my brother's keeper.
We got all the boys together in Fulton County. And when we put them through a rites of passage before we graduated with the pursuits, we had them in workshops. The most powerful workshop was mental health. Because we have an unaliving issue in our county. And the biggest unaliving cause of death for young adults in Fulton County is not violent, it's suicide. When we asked our kids, with the amazing goals, dreams, and aspirations you share with us, why are you killing yourselves? They says because no one cares. Graduated in custom cut suits, all the politicians came and took pictures. 2 weeks later, 3 boys got shot. They called a prayer rally, see no press, didn't pray, spewed violence, and drove off. You can understand how they feel like that. I don't know if you used to be a kid from Atlanta or a kid from the hood. That's why our daughters love Shay Alexander. You was a Grady baby like us. We want to be like you. You know what she said? Well, we'll go ahead and apply online. You'd be amazed how many of my babies applying for Fulton County. Really? We never thought we'd be worthy. Absolutely, baby. I got you. You might not have the ability to do that, but you know what you could do? You can pull up and let them know you drove over just so they could wash your car. You might not even need your AC recharge. You can pull up and let them check it. Let them check your oil. You can share your testimony. That's how we overcome these satanic attacks. Revelation. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And we didn't count it unto death. So skip the traffic and pull up. Because when you do that, you're doing more than buying a service. You're helping create a workforce pipeline. You're helping train young people. You're helping build skill. You're helping recirculate dollars locally. You're helping restore dignity through work. And you're helping us do what my spiritual father, Leon Howard Sullivan, did. And that's build training systems for people that mainstream wrote off. That's the work. Urban Concerned Clergy, that's what we're doing. And I turned down Warnock's ordination in 2011. I would have been ordained in the class with Shannon Jones. And yeah, for those interested in prison ministry, reentry work, that was in 2011. My response was not to disappear. That's what they told you. It wasn't to whine. It wasn't to retreat. It was to build. We took 627 less Queerfield. Go to believingsoldiers.com and see it. The biggest dope corner in the North Philadelphia in the 90s turned into the sanctuary for our prison ministry. Busting at the seams 10 years later. Warnock getting a lot of money for ending mass incarceration. But I'm going to tell you, Georgia, it's a big deal. He's the first black senator. But he's a junior senator in D.C., small man. He's a big fish in the pond. But he's just a fucking goldfish out here in these global sharks. Brian Kemp signed Senate Bill 36, April 4th, 2025. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Ascension Day. And so in my reading, and not my lawyers, but my judge's advocate interpretation of that particular piece of legislation, it represented a breaking open of space, a loosening of denominational control and constraints that had long limited what kingdom-centered community work could become in public if it didn't bow down to a bitch buck-broken boy with a desk. I had to say it like that for the culture. While everyone else is talking about healthcare, we talking kingdom. And now we are where we are. In closing, I'll say this. The old frameworks, they don't work. They're not enough. Colonize the classroom is not enough. Slave master interpretation of the sacred scroll is not enough. The camera ministry is not enough. The clergy PR performance is not enough. And the political posturing is not enough. What we need is African Christianity practically applied in the urban American context. Spirit-led, scripture-rooted, community-centered. That means the original language, the original dignity, the original identity, and the original responsibility. That means understanding that scripture comes from worlds older than the English Empire, older than the English language, older than the colonizers' categories they tried to use to manage us. It means recovering kingship, priesthood, sonship, daughterhood, service, entrepreneurship, economics, and AI digital dignity, along with patriotic responsibility in tangible ways that our children can experience. That means no more choir boys. It means we raising believing soldiers, not religious mascots, not soft spectators, believing soldiers with spiritual weapons, builders with structure, fathers with courage, mothers with patience, mentors with wisdom, students with spiritual hunger. They starving out here. Businesses with a kingdom mission, and clergy with a Bible-based backbone. That's why we are where we are now. So let me say this to the city. Peace up, A-Town down. I love Atlanta. I'm pro-Atlanta. Atlanta youth matter. All our urban youth matter. But when it came to a city that we had to kick it off, yeah, we turned the dope corner into the sanctuary in North Philly. When it came to launching this nationwide clerical movement, we respect Dean Carter as the founding dean of the Martin Luther King Jr. chapel. I just wanted to come through as the founding dean of Martin Luther King Jr.'s Prophetic Daughters institution. So, with that being said, I can't be anti-institutional. I'm just pro-trenches. Can't be anti-history. This is our story. This is our song. I'm praising my Savior all the day long. This is history maturing into responsibility. I honor the elders who fathered, mothered, and built this for us to continue. Leon Howard Sullivan, I honor him. I honor William Herbert Gray, Jr. and the Third. I honor Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts. I honor Miles Monroe. I honor Amazing Grace. I honor Andrea Dash Gray. I honor Marion Grace Gundy. I honor Evangelist Winifred Morris. I honor Cynthia Dolores Nottage Tucker. I honor Amelia Isadora Platts Boyden Robinson. I honor Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks. I honor Edith Scott Bagley. You gotta honor Esther Jean Wortham Roberts. I honor the women who poured into me and the men who covered me. I honor the real builders. And now I stand as just a son, just a child that was given, not trying to be famous, not trying to be accepted in everybody's circle, not trying to win every argument. I'm daddy now, riding for my babies with no brakes. And so the question is, who wants to help our Fulton County Kingdom kids? That's it. Who wants to help our kids? not talk shit about them kids. Who wants to help our kids? Who wants to build? Who wants to fund? Who wants to mentor? Who wants to register? Who wants to upgrade? Who wants to donate? I got a good one. Who wants to stop talking and be a founding member of a movement that's going to start recirculating dollars in our community, equipping and training our youth, intergenerationally rebuilding, revitalizing our urban kingdom business beloved community? I do. Do you? Because this is not the hour for the talk-a-lots. This is the hour for builders. And to my remnant, y'all already know, y'all already tapped in. But to the business owners, complete your profile. To the clergy with courage, stand. We're Urban Concerned Clergy. You invited. To the mentors, click on that page right there that says, tab that says Become a Mentor. To the mothers, we love you. Click on that tab under Urban Concerned Clergy. It says Mompreneur Squad. I got your back. I'm on your side. To the fathers and elders, help me help our children. Let's cover these babies. And to my youth, y'all know y'all the truth. You are not what these clowns tried to call you. You are not what the street tried to reduce you to. You are yokis, young kings, and Jesus called you little gods. I know it's Atlanta. I don't want to get into that. So that's why I call y'all little goddesses. Goddess empire builders. Daughters of divine digital destiny. Sons of purpose. Builders of our future. And I'm going to tell y'all, this city, we're going to get it right. And to everybody listening, I say this one last time. The real fight ain't for ballots. It ain't the midterms. It's for the brains of our babies. Not tomorrow, now. Not in theory and structure. Not in politics and practice. Not in slogans and sacrifice. And not in talking. In building. And so, I have concluded my first address. So good. National President-elect, Urban Concerned Clergy. Dean, Urban Success University. Chairman, now in my second decade. Prophetic patriarch of the remnant. Spiritual father. Prepared for this hour by my spiritual fathers. Nurtured by my spiritual mamas. And I'm making myself no reputation. Just call me K. And you, every one of you under the sound of my voice, register, upgrade, redirect, build, mentor, fund, support, and show up for our babies. Because Atlanta youth matters. Y'all know I'm making myself no reputation. I'm just doing what my boss told me to do. So when I get to the other side of Celestial Show, I can get paid. You know, we all get the same paycheck. We all hear well done. But you can't hear well done if you don't do what you're supposed to do. And y'all like, Kay, why you do it like this? Because this, the way that the Yokemeister told me to. Her physical siblings might have disrespected her prophetic. But her kingdom prophetic big brother, neither one of them. KJ never did. And I never will either. Amen. I'm not the boss. That's the boss. Yoki 1.0.
Keep your eye out for Yoki 2.0. You ain't know Coretta Scott and Martin Luther King Jr. got a granddaughter, Yolanda Denise King. And she not doing what them folk on Auburn Avenue doing. They trying to raise $100 million for Martin Luther King Jr.'s 100th birthday. You know what little Yolanda is telling everybody to do? Same thing Big Yolanda told everybody to do. Same thing that Coretta told everybody to do. 100 million hours of service. I'm at 1,033 for the Atlanta campus of Urban Success University. 33 a week. By the time we get out of school, I will have 1,260. Y'all want some revelation? That would be my next address. We'll be teaching the power of 1260. How many hours of service have you donated to our children?